Ever had one of those app ideas and thought to yourself, hey, could this actually be a real business? Well, today we are pulling back the curtain on how to build a software as a service company, a SaaS company. We're going to break down the exact steps, from that first little spark of an idea all the way to a business that can really scale.
So why is this such a big deal right now? Let's talk numbers for a second. The SaaS industry is on track to be worth over $200 billion by 2025. Yeah, that's billion with a B. This isn't just some passing tech trend. It is a massive shift in how software gets made and sold, and that creates a huge, huge opportunity for new founders just like you.
But hang on, what is SaaS exactly? It stands for Software as a Service, and I guarantee you're already using it every single day. Think about Netflix or Spotify. You don't buy a physical DVD or a CD anymore, right? You just pay a monthly fee to get access. That's it. It's just software delivered online. And that simple model is what makes it so incredibly powerful.
And this is the real magic of the SaaS model. You put in the hard work to build the product one time. But after that's done, you can sell that exact same product to 10 people, 100, even 1,000,000 customers, all without having to rebuild it from scratch. That's what creates that amazing recurring revenue and makes these businesses so scalable.
All right, so here is our game plan for this explainer. We're going to start with the why, the big opportunity. Then we'll walk through the entire journey, taking your idea from just a concept to something real, building and pricing it the right way, finding those crucial first customers, and then how to scale it all up. And we'll wrap up by talking about the founder's mindset that kind of holds it all together. So let's dive right in with the SaaS gold rush. What is the big attraction here? Well, it boils down to three things: predictable revenue, massive scalability, and a global market right from day one.
Okay, so you've got an idea, and that's fantastic. But an idea, no matter how brilliant it seems in your head, is really just a starting point. Now we're heading into what is, without a doubt, the most critical phase: finding out if your idea can actually survive contact with the real world. Before you write a single line of code, before you even think about logos, you absolutely have to answer these two questions. What is the specific, painful problem you're solving? And who exactly has that problem? You got to dig into market research, see who your competitors are. But here's the biggest clue. Are people already spending money trying to fix this problem? If the answer is yes, you might really be onto something. And here it is, the million-dollar question. It's one thing for people to say, oh, that's a cool idea, or yeah, I'd totally use that. But liking something and being willing to pull out your credit card and pay for it, those are two completely different universes. This is the hurdle where so many great-sounding ideas fall flat. And I'm not exaggerating. This is the #1 startup killer. Pouring months of your life, thousands of your own dollars, into building a beautiful product only to launch it to the sound of crickets. Nobody's buying. It is a heartbreaking and preventable mistake. But you have to be disciplined to avoid it. The solution? You have to validate before you build. You have to prove that people will pay. So how do you do that? You could set up a simple landing page and just collect emails for a wait list. Or even better, try to pre-sell your product at a discount. The second that real money changes hands, your idea stops being an idea and it becomes a business. Okay, congratulations. You've proven that people will actually pay for your solution. Now it's time to build. But listen, the goal here isn't to create some perfect, feature-packed masterpiece right out of the gate. The goal is to build smart. You're going to start with what's called an MVP, or a minimum viable product. Just think of it like this. What is the absolute simplest, most basic version of your product that solves the core problem? That's it. Its only job is to get in the hands of real users so you can get feedback and learn what you actually need to build next. It stops you from wasting time on features nobody even wants. And an MVP can be way simpler than you think. I mean, Buffer started as just a landing page to see if people would click the buy button. The founder of Zapier was literally the automation at first. He manually connected apps for his first users. And Airbnb? It started with just a few photos of the founder's own apartment. The lesson here is to start scrappy so you can learn fast. All right, next up, pricing. As you can see, you've got a bunch of options here, from a straightforward subscription like Netflix to a usage-based model like Stripe. Honestly, there's no single right answer. The best thing to do is to look at your direct competitors and price your product based on the unique value you're offering. And don't be afraid to experiment with this as you grow. This right here is the key mindset for pricing. Your price shouldn't just be about your features, it should be tied to your customers' success. If your product helps them make more money or save a ton of time, your pricing should grow alongside that value. When you get that alignment right, you create customers for life.
Okay, so you've got a validated idea, you've built an MVP, and you've got a smart pricing model. Now for the big question. How do you actually get it in front of the people who need it? Let's talk about marketing.
Finding those first customers is really a mix of different strategies. You could partner with influencers in your niche or run some really targeted ads. But early on, two things are absolutely crucial. A free trial, because it lets your product do the selling for you, and creating helpful content, like blog posts or tutorials. That helps you build a community and earn trust before you ever even ask for the sale. Getting those first handful of customers feels incredible, and it is. But that's really just the starting line. The long-term game in SaaS, the way you really win, is all about keeping those customers happy and systematically growing your business. Sustainable growth is really a balancing act. On one hand, you've got retention, which is all about keeping the customers you already have through amazing support and constant improvements. On the other hand, you've got scaling, finding new customers efficiently. And that's where the 80-20 rule is so powerful. If you discover that one marketing channel is bringing in 80% of your new customers, you need to double and then triple down on it.
So we've covered the tactics, but building a company is so much more than just a checklist. It's a marathon, and it requires a very specific mindset and a real awareness of the long road ahead. As a founder, you're going to become obsessed with one metric above all others, your churn rate. That's just the percentage of customers who cancel every month. A healthy rate is somewhere around 5%. If yours starts creeping higher, that's a flashing red light. It's telling you there's a problem, a disconnect between what your product does and what your customers need. And it's your job to figure out what it is and fix it.
And of course, the journey doesn't stop here. The SaaS world is always evolving. AI is quickly becoming a must-have feature, not just a nice-to-have. We're seeing this explosion of micro SaaS, small, super-focused tools that solve one problem really, really well. And more, founders are building their companies with a clear exit strategy in mind, hoping to be acquired. These are all trends you've got to watch. This quote, man, it just perfectly captures the founder's journey. You follow the steps we've talked about, the known work of validating, building, marketing, but the final outcome is never, ever guaranteed. It's really about embracing that uncertainty and just focusing on consistent, disciplined action day in and day out. And if there's one final thing to take away from all this, it's this. The only thing separating an idea that just gathers dust from one that actually takes flight is action. Speed is everything. The most important step isn't having the perfect plan, it's just taking the first one. So get out there and start building.